Hi everybody, welcome to my gaming channel. Yes, I am actually here and super excited and stoked because when it comes to games, I could talk about it all day long. So today we are actually here to rank all the Resident Evil games from Resident Evil 2 to Resident Evil Requiem. This actually includes Resident Evil 3, 4, 5, and 6, then 7, then Village, that's basically the 8th installment in the game itself. Then we are up to the Requiem game itself. I played Requiem twice already, and also it does have a good story. I love how they did with the game itself, but honestly, in my opinion, my list is the same as everybody else's because I know there's more Resident Evil games and the Resident Evil Zero, Resident Evil One, Code Veronica, because I don't own those games. So this are actually all some of the remake games that I played from Resident Evil 2 to Requiem. But honestly, I still enjoy the stories and the aspect of all of these characters. So, no further ado, let's get into this. So, in last place at number 8, this is a multiplayer co-op game. It's Resident Evil 5. You play as a leading character as Chris Redfield. As you all know, you have Chris Redfield that you can play as, and you have his partner Shiva. As you know, you go to the South Africa and find out who is at this whole bio terrorist like zombie outbreak out there, and this whole story is more fun when you play with other players. Like I used to play this with my brother back in a couple years ago, and I played it with him, and we actually beat it, and it was a fun game as well. When if you have more players to play, when you play solo, it isn't that as strong to play it because honestly, I played it. The worst thing I was not a fan of is the camera angle of to shoot the guns. Like it was trying to tough. Like okay, so it's like find the right angle with the gun, then you gotta shoot it a couple times. It's a really bad graphics, but I heard they're gonna do a remake of it, so it'll be like sweet. But with this game itself, it didn't have a good standard of a fun gameplay, so that's why it's in last place. For number 7, that actually beat Resident Evil 5 was Resident Evil 6. In this game itself, there's a multiple stories you could play as. The first one is always Leon, then it's actually Chris and Jake, who are the new characters involved in the story, and the bonus story is with Ada. So basically, you have all of these people you could do the stories. As for once, I did the Leon story and Chris's story. I actually played this whole game itself last year, and I actually thought of the game itself. It was fun. Don't get me wrong. I prefer this over Resident Evil 5 because in this story, when you play as Leon, you face this whole zombie outbreak. Still, the zombie outbreak is big in Resident Evil. This game, when you play as Leon, zombies. When you play as Chris, this like mutated like creatures you had to take on. It was so like ugh, that's nasty. And when you play as Jake, um a lot of different things you do face. Like there are some zombies here and there you do face, and this whole game itself with Ada Wong doesn't have a whole big story. It just connects with Leon and sometimes with Chris a little bit because Ada's been around since Resident Evil 2, but maybe even further beyond because she's been around for a long time. That beat Resident Evil 6 it's Resident Evil 2 that made it to number 6 spot. I was not a fan of this game because it had a lot of puzzles in this game. Because honestly, I'm not a big fan of the puzzle games. Because honestly, like it's more thinking, more what to do in the scenario. And also in this game, you have to go throughout the whole game itself, running away from Mr. X. And Mr. X is one of the antagonized villains for this game because you do face him in the other games as well. But with this one, I was not a big fan of this whole game because you play as actually as Leon, and also the other story is Claire Redfield. She's been looking for her brother Chris Redfield for a while now, and she's thought that he's actually in Raccoon City. And with this whole game itself, you could do Leon's story and Claire's story. So I did both. I think Claire Redfield is pretty more fun because you can take up this little girl named Sherry, and this whole thing itself really packs a punch with a fun game, but more puzzles that I wasn't a fan of, but still, it was fun to play. To pick it up to top 5 picks, that actually beat Resident Evil 2. It was Resident Evil 7. Yes, this made it to the top 5. I've beaten this game before, and honestly, in my opinion, it's a bit harder because actually, for one thing, this has more of a horror mix to it because you play as Ethan Winters, the new prodigy in Resident Evil games. Like with Ethan Winters looking for his wife, Maya, Maya, whatever. In this game, you go back to the Baker's resident and looking for his wife. And somehow, with this Baker residence, this whole thing went into chaotic, more depth of horror. Like I'm not a fan of the horror, scary type of games. It does have some action to it and has a good story. Like this whole game itself is more involvement to lead up to Resident Evil Village. And with this game itself, I love it. A good story, fun game. I don't mind some of the puzzles because there's some difficult things that I had to get through the whole game itself. The main villain, Evelyn, she was tough to take on, and she was the main villain of this game, and it was really insane game. But overall, there's some jump scares that I got scared of, but somehow there was a couple jump scares that got me a few times, but still, it was a fun game to play. For number 4, it is Resident Evil 3. I know this game is shorter than I expected because I never played Resident Evil 3 before, and with this whole game itself, you get chased by a Nemesis. And Nemesis has been around for a long time. As y'all know from the other games itself, this is the remake version of it, and you play as Jill Valentine as the main character, and also Carlos. You do play as him throughout the game itself. Like this whole game has a whole story of what's going on, and somehow at the end of the game, the nuke came out and destroyed the whole Raccoon City. That's why in Resident Evil 2 does connect with Resident Evil 3 because Leon left, Carlos left, and Jill Valentine left at the same time, at the same moment before the nuke happened. But with this whole game itself, it was really fun, but very entertaining because taking on Nemesis, I think, 4 times, it was awesome because Nemesis was one of the big bad villains as a tyrant. I like it. It was really a fun game. I really did enjoy this game a lot than I expected to see. For number 3, Resident Evil Village. This game was so tough to choose for this two for number 2, but somehow with Resident Evil Village, I really enjoy this game because I played this game once or maybe twice because honestly I'd like to revisit the game again. We play as Ethan Winters looking for his daughter as Rose. This whole game itself it was leading about what happened after 7. As we all know, Miranda is involved. This whole Transylvania, that's what I'm saying, is Transylvania level. You go up against this werewolf zombies, like the mole people, like from Resident Evil 7, leads into this whole game itself. It's so depth, it's so good, but a fun story. And because there's a DLC, Shadow of Rose. This whole game itself leads into the DLC and see what happens with Ethan Winters. Like after that game ended, um, the DLC came along. What happened with Ethan Winters, with Bolson got involved with this whole story. It was so cool, but so fun to play. That's why this game was number 3 for me. For the runner-up on this game, it was tied between first place. Runner-up is Resident Evil Requiem. I've beaten this game twice already. And honestly, I love the aspect of the journey as with Grace and Leon. Leon was on his last breath because everyone thought that Leon could die, but somehow in this game itself, it was solid. I love how they did with the game and the gameplay. Like it's so fun because in this game you do play as Grace a lot, and sometimes you do play as Leon, mostly because you got into like you play as Leon for a bit, then you transfer to play as Grace for a while, and that's the whole thing about this game because Grace is more of stealthy, like Leon's more of the action type. Because you can do third person for both. For me, I always do third person because honestly, I'm more of a guy that loves third person games, like other games like the Division or the other games. But with this game itself, I really enjoy this game a lot. Requiem is one up there for me because I love Requiem. Fun game and a fun story. For number 1, on this list. I rated this game more than once, then twice, maybe 3 times. Could be the 4 times again. It is Resident Evil 4. This game was solid. One of my favorite games in Resident Evil in history, because Resident Evil 4, you play as Leon looking for Ashley, and this whole game itself really packs a punch as the main villain. It's so fun, but so like action, fantasy, horror type. It's so awesome. Resident Evil 4 is one of my personal favorite games in Resident Evil. With all of these games, I love because I play them on Xbox and play them all. Resident Evil 4 was a fun story because you play as Leon mostly all the time. You have to protect Ashley. The whole thing about this whole game itself, it was really fun and more like entertaining as well because this whole game was about Leon looking for Ashley to get out of the island. You see some old flames in this game as well, like from the original Resident Evil games. But with this game, it was like really fun. Like this is one of my personal favorite Resident Evil games. So that's my ranking of all the Resident Evil games from Resident Evil 2 and up to Requiem. Thank you for hanging out with Brett's Real Gaming. Bye, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you do, let me know in the comments which one is your top 5 favorite games in Resident Evil. If so, let me know in the comments down below. If you want to be check me out even more, you guys can subscribe to my channel down below. If you want to be notified by my videos, hit that notification bell icon as well. Bye, everybody.